Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, people living in Floyd County got outside for some spring cleaning this week. And one school in Pike County is getting a couple of new head coaches. We'll tell you who they are.
Scattered showers and storms return tomorrow. Some could be on the strong to severe side. I'll have a look at your Wednesday forecast right now at 5:30.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Governor Andy Beshear says even though we saw an increase in COVID-19 cases late last week and today, Kentucky is still safe to reopen because of the positivity rate. Today he announced 245 new cases, putting Kentucky's total at 11,708. 5 more Kentuckians have died from the virus, bringing the death toll to 477. More than 3,300 people have recovered. The governor also said businesses can increase their capacity to 50% after 1 month of operating at the capacity they are now. For retail, that is June 20th, and for restaurants, the date will be June 22nd. I'm sure lots of folks will be glad to hear that. Now, the National Bureau of Economic Research has declared the U.S. is now in a recession. New York partially reopened on Monday. Now, every state in the country has opened their economy back up in some way. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization announced that recent data suggests asymptomatic transmission of the virus is very rare. However, CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus believes that announcement was irresponsible.
Asymptomatic people fall into 2 buckets. One is people who would be asymptomatic for the whole course of the virus, and the others who are what we call pre-symptomatic. So they're asymptomatic, but they will get symptoms in several days. In both cases, they can transmit the virus.
The director of the health department in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, says about a dozen people in Bucks County went to a party in New Jersey, and they all contracted the virus. In Floyd County, with summer officially starting in a little more than 1 week, the county is clinging to the last days of spring for its spring cleanup. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more on why county officials are encouraging the community to get involved.
It has been a busy week here at the Floyd County Transfer Station as people from all across the county drop off their trash for the spring cleanup. It may only be day 2 of the county's spring cleanup, but county officials say they have already seen a good response from the community. The Floyd County Fiscal Court set aside this week to take place of the previously canceled spring cleanup, encouraging people to clean up their communities and bring in the larger trash items that may be littering the area. Solid Waste Director Joe Reynolds says anyone in the county can drop items off at the transfer station free of charge all week.
We want everybody in Floyd County to bring their stuff here that they have in the yard, around the yard. If it's in their ditch lines, pick up their community. We want them to bring it all here.
Spring cleanup continues through Saturday, and county officials encourage people to get out and clean up. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Waste Connections will be open from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. through Friday and 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. on Saturday. Trash is piling up at such a high rate in Sevierville and Sevier County, Tennessee, that law enforcement officials are being more strict about litter laws. Law enforcement from several departments are partnering with an organization called Keep Sevier Beautiful. They say an increase of trash and cigarette butts is to blame. A mitigated criminal littering charge includes littering less than 5 pounds of trash and is considered a Class C misdemeanor, punishable by a fine of $50. A teenager was shot in Bowling Green out in western Kentucky last night. Police say they were called to an apartment complex after someone said they heard shots fired. When police got there, they say the victim, 19-year-old Timothy Adrian Taylor, was already put into a car to go to the hospital. Police say that car then wrecked on the way to the hospital, and others were injured in the crash. Taylor was pronounced dead at the medical center in Bowling Green.
Well, it's been another pretty day here in the mountains if you look at some of these cameras, but if you went outside, you know it's hot and it is humid out there this afternoon. So we'll take you up to that National Weather Service camera in Jackson. Started out with not too many clouds throughout the day, starting to see those clouds increasing slightly. That'll continue tonight and into tomorrow, but overall we have seen the beautiful sunshine. It's just on the hot and humid side out there. Now as we go ahead and take you over to that Whitesburg camera, you can see temperatures into about the mid to upper 80s. It says cloudy skies, but we're definitely seeing some sunshine over there. Feeling closer to 88 degrees with that dew point into about the mid to upper 60s. So a lot of us upper 80s, lower 90s right now. If you're in the Cumberland Valley, you're a little bit on the cooler side. 91 in Prestonsburg, 90 in Logan, 88 in Jackson, even 90 up into Huntington. And I promise this dew point making it feel a lot warmer. Upper 60s to lower 70s, so that uncomfortable to oppressive stage, and really not seeing too many showers to give us a break. A few more clouds down into the Cumberland Valley and some stray showers down there, hopefully cooling them off. All of us get a chance of seeing some scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. A few of those could be on the strong to severe side. I'll have more details on that coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. Each year after football and basketball season, many schools go through coaching changes, and one school in Pike County has 2 new faces. WYMT's Camille Gear tells us more about them.
Last season for the Pike Central Hawks was not ideal, with the girls team finishing 13-16 and the boys team finishing 8-21. But with 2 new head coaches on the sidelines, they're looking to make some changes.
Getting the numbers back up, giving them confidence, giving them some encouragement that, and hopefully we can get them back in here and put a love back for the game of basketball.
I think, there has to be a new life and energy injected into this program. I think the pieces are in place. You've got the support, you've got the talent around to do that.
With Coach Campbell coming from East Ridge.
They're a special bunch. All my teams that I've had there, I had moments the other day packing that I just broke down in tears because there's so many great memories, and they will always have a place in my heart.
And Coach Amos coming from Greenup County.
Point guard, he led the state in assists, and my one kid, Rodrigo Dryden, he led the state in rebounding, and both of them have signed to play at the next level. We had things trending upward and all that.
And what are they looking forward to about their new home?
But I want them to get to know me and teach them a little bit about the game of basketball, actually about life, because you can learn a whole lot through it. So
hang banners for district regional championships, that goes a long way. I mean, I know that was a dream I had as a player. I'm just looking forward to putting my stamp on something.
In Pike County, Camille Gear, WYMT Mountain News.
Both coaches said they cannot wait to start practice on Monday. Protests against racism are continuing around the state, country, and the world. Dr. Ricky L. Jones is a UK graduate and current chair of Pan-African Studies at the University of Louisville. He believes this is a moment that will make history, but wonders how long the movement will keep the attention of Americans.
What America's very good at is doing things for a moment, and then once the news cycle shifts, they move on. So I'm really wondering how much talk there's going to be about Black oppression, white supremacy, all of these things in America in the next, month or 2.
He says right now he's seeing what he teaches in his classes. This is the 11th day people have rallied in Lexington. As protests continue, some cities across the country are already taking actions to reform or abolish their police departments. But will anything be done on the federal level? Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Policastro tells us how lawmakers are responding to demands for change.
Our Washington News Bureau talked to 30 lawmakers from across the country, Republicans and Democrats from rural areas and cities. These lawmakers are charged with representing the communities where protesters are making their voices heard.
People have a right to protest.
They want to be heard and say, this is not right.
People are feeling desperate.
The lawmakers are encouraging peaceful protests, but not violence.
We cannot have destructive behavior because it distracts from the message.
Some members of Congress are taking action, working on the issues raised by protesters across the country.
Police misconduct.
Democrats announced legislation Monday aiming to reform federal, local, and state law enforcement. The bill would ban police chokeholds, track and report cases of excessive force throughout the nation, and increase police use of dash and body cameras.
We need to control the use of excessive force, reform and balance, and cultural training for our law enforcement personnel.
The bill is written by Democrats, with no Republicans signed on as co-sponsors.
We also have to recognize, however, that our law enforcement officers are, by and large, 99.9% of them are heroic, sacrificial public servants.
As protesters kneel outside the Capitol, there's pressure on lawmakers to do something. But with a divided Congress, change won't be easy. In Washington, I'm Jacqueline Policastro.
Well, family and friends said their goodbyes to George Floyd this afternoon in Houston, Texas. You may have seen the live coverage on CBS earlier here on WYMT. They held the service at the Fountain of Praise Church. Former Vice President and presidential nominee Joe Biden offered his condolences to the family through a recorded video. Several state representatives also paid their respects at the service through eulogies.
I am so grateful today to be able to say a man by the name of Big Floyd walked amongst us down those CUNY home blocks, went on up to that crimson and red, and began to mentor and make a legacy that no one can deny.
Floyd will be buried next to his mother in Pearland, Texas. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, how credit card issuers say they are helping customers out during the pandemic.
Scattered showers and storms continue tomorrow, but when will we see the nicer weather return? I'll have that answer coming up.